Hello and welcome to Inside Tennis Football's practice facility. I'm Ryan Sylvia with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network. And after a bye week, it is officially Arkansas week. So Tennessee turning their attention from themselves and onto an opponent in the Razorbacks as they return to the road for another night game over in Fayetteville. We spoke with head coach Josh Heupel and a handful of players today to get their thoughts on the upcoming matchup. So let's jump right into it. First, Josh Heupel asked him about last week's bye week, and you expect a coach to usually say things went well in the bye week, but Josh Heupel says that was the case, that he was satisfied with what Tennessee was able to accomplish during the bye week, whether that was kind of cleaning up some areas that they wanted to going into that week. On Wednesday last week, he said that was just kind of communication, things like that. So nothing too crazy, but felt like that was cleaned up, and then also were able to kind of look at their own health as this season progresses over the weekend, kind of not having to play in a game, obviously having some time off and being able to kind of recover. Dylan Sampson was asked about his recovery this weekend, said, he kind of felt lucky, said he felt blessed that he woke up after the Oklahoma game on Sunday and was able to walk straight and didn't feel too banged up. But of course, there's a lot of guys on this team that have played a lot of football and surely took advantage of that extra bit of rest they were able to have. Talked about Arkansas as well and the challenges they present, a mobile quarterback, a really good run game, the trust they have in their offense, and then the turnovers they've been able to create on the defensive end. And that includes an interception from Danico Slaughter, obviously a former Tennessee safety, played a lot of football at Tennessee, probably most memorable for that Kentucky game in 2022. He had a really nice game filling in kind of a pinch. I think he played corner in that game if I remember, but he's kind of played all over the field for Tennessee defensively in that secondary. He's got off to a nice start with Arkansas after hitting the transfer portal this offseason. Squirrel White talked about how they're not really thinking too much about that. Addison Nichols, another guy on that opposing offensive line that transferred from Tennessee over to Arkansas, he's their starting center. Squirrel White said, we'll see him when we get there. We haven't been in much communication with him, kind of different chapter, opening a new book. But Squirrel White did talk about, I matched up with him a lot when I first got here since I was a freshman, and now at this point, I've got a lot of reps under the belt against the Danico Slaughter, but we'll kind of see how that plays out on Saturday and how much they match up with each other and kind of what Danico Slaughter's responsibilities are, because there's going to be a lot of familiarity there, but also the other side of that, Danico Slaughter has a lot of familiarity with Tennessee's receivers and Tennessee's offense and what they like to do. So you kind of have that mixture of different intel, I guess, on both sides of things. Tyree West also talked at the podium, just kind of talked about the success he's had early on this year. He's been really good for Tennessee too. You think about starting things off strong against Chattanooga, and he's continued to build and build and build ever since that Citrus Bowl really a year ago. But talked about kind of the rotation that Tennessee uses, how you got to be ready on the sideline with Coach Garner. If you're not there to get your name called, you're not getting in the game. It's fast paced. You got to be kind of on your toes on the sideline waiting for your chances. But when you do get your chances with all the rest you've been afforded, about how beneficial that really can be. Keenan Peely as well met with the media, talked about kind of that linebacker position, the challenges that do come with that as someone that kind of has a big responsibility in both the pass and run game. And when you have a mobile quarterback and maybe you're on some spy plays or maybe you're playing that kind of shallow zone and that's kind of your responsibility. If Taylor Green ends up running, that a lot of that pressure is on the linebacker position. So talked about how got to keep your gap integrity, got to make sure your eyes are in the right place, and that'll go a long way in having a successful night at the linebacker position for Tennessee. Also talked about how back in 2022 with BYU they played Arkansas and how they lost that game to the Razorbacks, and things are a little different now, of course, over there. Quarterback change, same coach, Sam Pittman, but quarterback change from KJ Jefferson to Green. Rocket Sanders no longer with the team. So a lot of the big names aren't there, but talked about how, he kind of wants to flip that. Left sad with BYU, now wants to leave happy with Tennessee. But that's really the rundown from Tennessee's press conferences today. We'll meet with some assistant coaches. I believe we have offense or maybe defensive coordinator Tim Banks and then wide receiver coach Kelsey Pope. At least two coaches and then some players as well. But we'll keep you covered over at VolReport.com. Links to everything you need is in the description for coverage all the way throughout football season. And then also Lady Vols coverage today, more basketball coverage and baseball coverage as well. So everything you need over at VolReport.com. Thank you for watching.